All right, let's talk about something huge for your muscle building journey, something that's so often missed.
So, look, if you're serious about training, you're probably already tracking everything, right? Your protein, your carbs, your fats, you've got that stuff on lockdown. But what if I told you the biggest key to unlocking your muscle potential isn't in your meal prep container? What if it's a powerful hormone that you're probably not even thinking about? Yeah, we're talking about vitamin D. And listen, get that whole "it's just for bones" idea out of your head. That's old news. The science is crystal clear now. Vitamin D acts like a potent steroid hormone in your body, and it has a direct line to your muscles, impacting how they repair, how they function, and ultimately how they grow.
Okay, so how does this whole thing work? It's pretty cool, actually. When you get vitamin D, either from the sun or from food, it's not ready to go right out of the box. It has to go on a little journey through your body. First stop, the liver. It gets converted there. Then it heads over to the kidneys for the final, super important activation step. It's only after that whole process that it becomes the powerhouse your muscles are waiting for. So this final souped-up version has a long scientific name, 1,2,5-dihydrovitamin D. Yeah, let's just call it 1,2,5-D. This is the stuff that actually does all the work. To make it even easier, let's just think of it as the master key. And trust me, that's the perfect name for it because it literally unlocks the door to muscle growth. So we've got this master key, right? How does it actually turn the lock and get your muscles growing? Well, the whole process is surprisingly direct and honestly pretty awesome. Okay, get this. Your muscle cells, the very fibers you're trying to grow, are covered in these little docking stations. They're called vitamin D receptors, or VDRs. You can just picture them as tiny little keyholes just sitting there, waiting for one specific key to show up.
You know how after a tough workout, your muscles are broken down? That's the demolition phase, right? You're creating all that necessary microdamage. Well, our master key, that active vitamin D, comes along and slides perfectly into those VDR locks on your muscle cells. And when it clicks, bam! That's the signal for the reconstruction crew to storm in and start rebuilding everything bigger and stronger. It literally kicks off the entire repair and growth process. And what happens when that lock opens? Oh man, it's a cascade of good stuff. It sends a direct signal for your muscles to start repairing and regenerating. It actually helps create brand new muscle fibers. Plus, it supercharges your mitochondria, the power plants inside your cells, giving you the raw energy needed for all this rebuilding. It's not just one thing, it's a total system upgrade for getting stronger. And look, this isn't just some theory cooked up in a lab. We're talking about real-world results. Study after study shows that when people who train hard get their vitamin D levels right, they see real, measurable improvements. We're talking strength, we're talking recovery, the whole deal. I mean, the research is solid on this. Having optimal vitamin D levels is linked to just being stronger, period. But what's really cool for us is how it improves recovery from those brutal workouts. The ones with heavy negatives or slow eccentrics that leave you sore for days? Yeah, vitamin D helps you bounce back faster from that exact kind of training that sparks the most growth. So let's put this side by side. What's the actual difference in the gym? Well, it's pretty night and day. With low vitamin D, you're looking at things like weaker grip strength and just feeling like you can't recover between workouts. But when your levels are optimal, you're stronger, you're bouncing back quicker, ready to hit it hard again sooner. It is a total game changer for building real functional muscle. Okay, so this all leads to the million-dollar question, right? Are your levels high enough to actually support all the hard work you're putting in? Let's talk numbers. So the magic number we're aiming for, based on the research, is getting your blood levels above 75 nanomoles per liter. That seems to be the sweet spot where your body really has everything it needs to fire on all cylinders for muscle function and performance. All right, so how do we get to that number? Well, you've got a few options. First, some sensible sun exposure is your body's favorite way to make it. Second, you can get some from your diet. Think oily fish, eggs, that kind of thing. And third, for a lot of us, especially depending on where you live, supplementation is going to be key. But honestly, the number one most important thing you can do is get tested. Find out what your baseline is. You can't fix what you don't know is broken, right? So, next time you're mapping out your training cycle or dialing in your macros, just ask yourself, are you thinking about this hormone? Because that missing link, that key to smashing your next PR and recovering faster than ever, it might just be hiding in plain sight. It might be the one thing you haven't been tracking. Until now.